Hello, everyone. Are you ready to learn about the library? I love using the library. I think that's probably come across to some of you. And one of our amazing GHC librarians, Ms. Smith, has taken the time to put together a library guide just for our class to help those of you who need to use some outside resources to complete your final, to help you find those outside resources and to make that easier for you. So that's really what the library is great for. And this here is the homepage of our library guide for our class. You can see that there are 1, 2, 3 columns here on this homepage. On the upper left, this is really important. This is where this is like navigation for how to navigate through the library guide. So each one of these is like a different tab that will take you further along in the library guide. If you have questions for Ms. Smith, you can get to her directly. She is our history librarian, so she knows about how to find sources. And she also has a copy of our assignment sheet, so she knows kind of what's going on. And then some library hours there if you want to get a hold of, like to go into a physical library. Today is Friday, so the physical libraries are closed today, but you can get a hold of them in other ways. So for example, over here on the right-hand side, if you want to talk to a librarian, if you say, hey, I have this thing and I know that I need to search about the Cuban Missile Crisis or about healthcare under different economic systems, or about Israel and Palestine. All of those questions, the librarians, you can actually chat with them right here. You can text them, you can email them. These are all the different ways to get a hold of them over on the right-hand side, and they can help you with all of those things as well. Or if you're trying to open something and a link doesn't work, that's happened to me once or twice. The librarians are super helpful with that as well. So here we go on this main page. Here are just some really quick tips here, and it's kind of going to take you through the guide and then the contact information. That's all on this front page. So if we move up here and go to this right here, scholarly versus popular sources, this is where we get into kind of the expectations of the course. So if you are going to be using sources for this class, my expectations is that you are going to either be using a scholarly source or a primary source. And we could talk about this, and those of you who are doing this are often, we're going to check in with this about your sources halfway through, right? But this is the difference between a scholarly and a popular source. This tells us like what about, so read through this infographic, and this will kind of just give you some information about what is going on as far as what is the difference. I'm not going to read it to you. You can do that. But I do encourage you to take a look at each of these pages. And so then we can move on to, once you've figured that out and understand why we're looking for scholarly sources in the first place, you can move on to using Galileo. And there is another video here, which which Ms. Smith did, which is awesome. She's really good at using like memes and GIFs and things to really make things interesting. She's much better at that than I am. So don't worry that you will not be entertained. It's an entertaining video. So that will be there as far as just what is Galileo. Especially if you haven't had to do research at a GHC using the GHC databases before, they're here. See, there's all sorts of information here. I would really, really encourage you to read through all of this about just general searching in Galileo information here. And then you can see in this tab, right, we have using Galileo, but there are also different kind of subsections, right? So one is searching with keywords. What did I say about the GIFs and comic strips? Just entertaining. How do we search with keywords? Like, how do we actually physically do a search? Searching in the library databases is a lot different than doing a Google search. And so there are some specific ways that we can make that easier. And so this is a way to do that. And one of the things here that I really like is that there is this focus on like, first think about what it is that you're looking for and then try to find it. So you can go from there. There's also something called Boolean operators. This is when you're searching for something like Cuban Missile Crisis and you put it in quotation marks so that it searches for the phrase Cuban Missile Crisis. Or you could search for, quote, Cuban Missile Crisis and, using the word and, women, if you're interested in women's roles in the Cuban Missile Crisis, for example. So this is some information about how to do that kind of searching. And then also how you can search with limiters and filters. So again, this is how to refine your search so that you're not searching through thousands and thousands of sources. This will make this easier. Finally, down second to last, not finally, almost finally. Right here where it says world history databases. After you have a handle on how to do searching, and I am available and Ms. Smith is available and all the librarians are available to help you do this. World history databases is the place where I envision you will spend quite a bit of your time. So if you click there, here we go. Let's see, get back here. This kind of middle search here should be familiar. This looks a lot like what the GHC library homepage looks like. So this will be a search for kind of all of Galileo. Let me move my face. Okay, on the right-hand side though, this is where things get really, really cool. These are kind of world history specific databases that can help you. And I just wanted to pull out a couple. So like, for example, if you click on down here at the very bottom, let me see, where it says world history in context. You click on that and give it a couple minutes to authenticate. One of the things that's cool here is that so you can do your search up here, right? Up in the top and search for Cuban Missile Crisis or whatever you want. And it's going to give you lots of information. But you can also come down here and browse topics too, right? So maybe communism is the thing that's really interesting to you and you want to know more about communism. Oh, here you go. And here, look, we're starting with the Communist Manifesto. That should seem familiar to all of you at this point, right? And you scroll down. We've got featured content. We've got the academic journals. That's your scholarly sources. We've got primary sources. Here's an excerpt from the manifesto. This looks like it might, if anybody is thinking about gender and the Industrial Revolution, this might be a good primary source. Reference are more like encyclopedia entries, more like general topics. Some images. So you get a lot of different types of sources in this database. And this is just one of the databases, right? This was down here, world history in context. Okay. Oh, and then, sorry, the last thing, when you are all done, if you have been using this library guide, the librarians have asked that you very kindly fill out this assessment about how effective this was and how much it helped you to do your research. And that will really help them to refine their kind of efforts in the future, right? All right, so I hope that everybody, this was helpful. If this is something that you are, if this is something that you need for your project, I hope that this was helpful to you. Please let me know if you have any questions. Let Ms. Smith know if you have any questions. We are here for you. I'm so excited to see your final projects. They are really, truly going to be amazing. And I hope that they're things you are all going to be proud of. So thank you. Thank you for all your hard work, and I will talk to you soon.